I received a complaint from the staff at the bank. They stated that you were inside the building filming.
No, never
No?
inside the building. That seems like a false police report to me, so that's a crime.
So they came out to you, it was
Yep.
right. I'm just making sure you're okay. Do you mind just giving me your name to make sure that you don't have any warrants or anything crazy like that?
I'm not gonna identify myself.
I'm going to need your full name. Anytime I have contact with someone, I have to identify them. So if you refuse to identify yourself, then I may have to take you into custody because you are failing to follow through with identifying yourself.
Unless I've committed a crime, I don't identify myself.
That would be obstruction.
That's a secondary offense.
It would be obstruction if you fail to identify yourself.
Gonna challenge you on that one. Do you have a supervisor?
I told him that if he were to refuse to identify himself, that could be considered obstruction. He states that that's secondary to the investigation and does not want to identify himself.
Super simple. If you're on the sidewalk, you can film. There's no problem with that. I'm not going to force you to identify yourself or anything like that. You're good to go, man.
Welcome back, everybody. As many of you guys know, I'm a law enforcement trainer instructor. I train and instruct military and law enforcement all over the country on various law enforcement disciplines to include constitutional law, case law, patrol tactics, use of force, advanced investigations, etc. And here, as you can see, we have the atypical, I'm a police officer and I was called here. I was called for service. Therefore, you must ID yourself. We see these scenarios play out all the time. And you guys have heard me go through the case law on it, but I want to do this one a little differently. I want to go over the case law real quick, and then I want to show you what can be done for accountability and transparency. Super simple. Now, will it ever be enacted? No. Again, I don't think it'll be enacted because I think by and large people don't care, but it shows you how easy it is to bring forth transparency and accountability to law enforcement. And if you're a law enforcement officer that doesn't violate people's rights, you should have no problem with it. And it also can be done and coexist with qualified immunity. You can have it all, essentially. So let's look at the case law real quick. Brown v. Texas, 1979, Supreme Court has affirmed that law enforcement needs reasonable articulable suspicion in order to detain and compel someone to identify themselves. Obviously, it's clear this officer did not have reasonable articulable suspicion. And so, talking about qualified immunity, Malley versus Briggs, 1986. What happens if an arrest is found unconstitutional? Again, a police officer can be civilly sued for monetary damages by a victim of an unlawful arrest. And therefore the officer would not be entitled to qualified immunity if a reasonably well-trained officer in the petitioner's position would have known the affidavit would have failed to establish probable cause. It's clear he would not be able to, he would not have probable cause for obstruction in this case because he has no reasonable articulable suspicion to believe that a crime has occurred. Therefore, he does not have the ability to compel and demand identification. Again, that's pretty simple. Let's look at the doctrine of qualified immunity real quick. Versus Callahan, 2009. Qualified immunity is a type of legal immunity that protects a government official from lawsuits alleging that the official violated a plaintiff's rights. Only allowing suits where officials violated a clearly established statutory law or constitutional right. Qualified immunity balances two important interests: the need to hold public officials accountable when they exercise power irresponsibly, the need to shield officials from harassment, distraction, and liability when they perform their duties reasonably. Again, Pearson versus Callahan. So if you guys watched my last video, you saw this. In case you guys have not seen it, here we have, if you were to create a statute, a law that states that you can't violate people's rights, right? So if you had a jury instruction, what would it look like? So I made this one up. Oklahoma jury instruction, TAC 911, unlawful arrest elements. No person may be convicted of unlawful detainment or arrest unless the state has proved beyond a reasonable doubt each element of the crime. These are the elements. Again, first one, any peace officer pursuant to, as defined in Title 21, Oklahoma Statute 99. So 2-1, Oklahoma Statute 99. So that's the first one. Number 2, willfully. Number 3, detain or arrest. Number 4, without lawful authority. And number 5, any member of the public. So in this case, if we looked at it, did this officer detain him? Yes, he was not free to go. Did the officer demand ID? Yes. Did he do so lawfully? No, there was no lawful basis to detain him. There was no lawful basis to, he didn't have reasonable articulable suspicion. Was that person a member of the public? Yes, he was. Therefore, you could clearly establish if this was a law, if the law was violated, and then you can go move forward with whatever it is you want to do. This is important to note because let's be honest. Again, let's be honest with our contentions here. It's easy to not violate people's rights, right? It's easy to violate their rights, and it's easy to not violate their rights. This is not a difficult. We're not asking law enforcement to do something difficult here. Either you have reasonable or articulable suspicion, or you don't. Reasonable or articulable suspicion is a very, very low threshold. So I think this just shows perfectly how easy it would be to hold law enforcement accountable. But again, I don't think people by and large actually really care about that. But there you go. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. It's a quick one today, but most importantly, I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think that this is doable? Do you think this is something that you would want to see enacted? Tell me what you think. I'm very interested to know. As always, long live the Republic.